Hey, so what did I do to the Mustang to try to fix the MR2?
You tried to get the pressure washer out, but you wasn't looking at what you're doing. You were talking at the same time, so yeah, it's a bad scratch. Couldn't do better than that.
Yeah, I ate the plastic right there, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hole.
Yep, it's a nice little hole.
But this time I'm happy it's not me who scratched the Mustang, because you know what happened? When the Mustang is scratched, John will sell it.
Yep.
But it's not my fault this time.
All because Julian here and I are, well, mostly Julian. My big job was washing the vehicle, but I do all the aesthetics. So this is actually coming along, but Julian's here to help tune the MR2 so that it runs, well, because right now when we start it up and the engine's cold, it won't go faster than 10 or 15 kilometers an hour, even when the pedal is to the metal. So, well, I guess that's how it works when you're trying to do a project car. You get a little bit ahead on one car and you get behind on another. Well, this time I didn't just get behind, I actually damaged it. So, Marie, you're not too impressed with me, are you?
Not at all.
Nope.
I could have just removed the car to pass the stuff. But
Yep. We're running out of driveway. We need more driveway, more garage.
But I'm happy you didn't scratch the Bronco.
So I guess we'll have to sell that Mustang. Every time I damage something, it always ends up getting sold. That's always seems to be what happens. So stay tuned. We're just going to be working on the MR2, seeing completely tuning this because it has a standalone computer. It has a Lynx 4G or G4 Lynx. So we're going to be working on that. We've got the laptop out. So a little engine day. Marie's helping us set. So let's stay tuned for the next step. Here is the Toyota MR2. My original Toyota MR2 that I bought back, and it looks really good from far. But when you get closer, it's far from good looking. So let's take a look here. It's got a lot of bug and tar. Really the main issue is all the tar, the tree tar from pine trees. You can see it all across the hood. The paint is absolutely destroyed. So let's take a closer look. So as you get closer, you see it's got all these spots, nice tar spots. So I'm gonna get some bug and tar remover and see if that helps instead of having to try to sand through that before paint, if this thing ever makes it to paint. But these are the new mags on the vehicle, really helping out the look. I've got to decide, or the community has got to decide. Please let me know in the comments section. Do we remove this wing and these air dams that work so-so? Should we put back the originals? Because in the trunk, we've got the originals. Let's see what's underneath this hood. See what I've been up to. So I went to replace the steering wheel with a Momo, and I don't have the right adapter, so for now, that's staying on. Painted the little studs, so well, they look less rusted. Now, to open up the trunk, you've got the latch right here on the side of the seat. Clearly need new seats. You see all those water stains? Well, that's because water is coming in through here and all the way down here and through the speaker. So not good when you get in the vehicle and you see water behind the speaker. Not a great feeling. It's running rough, probably because this is a 98 motor on a 91. The computer still has yet to be, it's still on its 91 computer programming, so it needs to be reprogrammed. See, I did a little bit of painting underneath the hood, did the oil change, put on a nice little new air filter because the old one was absolutely filthy, and changed the spark plugs and the valve cover gasket. The valve cover gasket was destroyed and allowing two spark plugs to just be covered in oil. But here's that thing that I told you about. Looks real good from far, but is real far from good looking once you get close. All this pine needle. So let's see if doing some, well, I already put acid on the vehicle trying to get it off, and the acid did not work, so let's go with tar remover. Let me know, do we remove these things? We already do have air vents on the side right here. Loving the new mags. Thanks for the help picking those out. And in the trunk, see right there, we've got the originals. So we can put those on. Replacement lights for the ones that don't fit. Chips all throughout the entire car. This needs to go and get painted. Now the majority of the votes were for eruption green instead of antimatter blue. Antimatter blue, of course, would have gone with the blue suede here. And so far the vote, I was thinking everyone would vote black seats, but they liked the brown seats, which I'm excited about. So stay tuned for more updates on the Toyota MR2, as this might get built from beginning to end, or it might just get sold halfway and try a new project that's just a little less time consuming. Stay tuned. So before jumping into the motor, very good idea, easy, pull the plugs, they just pop off, but take one of your new spark plugs and test it with the socket. Instead of playing around in that hole and thinking you have the right size, and maybe, you know, because of pressure, having that socket pop from the arm and getting stuck down in the spark plug cylinder well, check it out, use the new spark plug, get the right size. So in this case, I've got 5/8. I've got a long socket so I don't get pushed off. So while you're here, you're just gonna wanna check to see if your timing belt needs replacement or not. If it looks worn, cracked, then it definitely needs replacement. And you want to replace that before you're driving and it snaps while driving, because that will definitely stop the vehicle. And if you're unlucky, it'll also cause you major engine repairs. It's nice to want things to look nice and pretty and everything and paint it all up. But if you do get a little bit of overspray or paint on any of the parts that are going to be resealing together, you definitely want to clean that up. Anyways, these parts, some of them are made of aluminum and they have a little bit of white powder, which can make things a little less than ideal in regards to really having a good vapor seal. So we're sanding them up anyways. As we put things back together, we want things to be as good as possible. So nice little trick. It's nice to make things look pretty, but make sure it doesn't make things from functioning properly. Okay, so now we're putting things back together, and on the throttle, the whole throttle body assembly, you got to do them one at a time, starting from up here. So you got your throttle body, and then we just keep moving back, installing the pieces, because there's an order to it so that the sockets actually fit when you're tightening. Okay, so for steps for putting this all back together, we got the first part of the throttle body, the second part, and the last part. So we did it in order 1, 2, 3, because these bolts need to go in before this is on. So section 1, then section 2, and then section 3 with the bolt through it. So section 2, the bolts were just down here. So really it is step by step: 1, 2 bolts, then next the 2 bolts down here, and then last we do it, and I will touch up the paint on this obviously, and then we put the spark plugs back in place. So all new spark plugs, because you wouldn't want to do this anyways, and then leave the old spark plugs in. Spark plugs aren't very much. Now these wires they're pretty decent, so we're not going to replace the wires on this. Otherwise, if they're still the original wires, obviously I would have also done the wires. And we did check the cam, sorry, not the cam belt, but we checked the timing belt, and the timing belt is A-okay. It's looking good, doesn't have a single crack, no signs of wear. And anyways, it's not as if we could have just easily swapped that. It looks like it's easy to access right there, but it's about a 7-hour job, and at that point I almost wonder if it's easier to just take the whole motor out. And if ever I do that, well, then I'll look at what other parts I'm going to change. But I do like having a stock header because they're long lasting. They don't crack from, you know, heating up fast and cooling off really quickly. So as much as I could get more airflow out of an aftermarket and more sound. This thing's loud enough as it is, and I just want reliability. Okay, now speaking of making things more reliable as opposed to looking pretty, yeah, I did try to rattle can paint the MR2. Mind you, you do see that my compound actually worked out really nicely. This paint definitely looked finished. We even had some professionals tell us that the paint was finished, but a compound and a lot of work did bring it back. That's me practicing paint. We will send it to the paint shop. And next up, stay tuned, because we're going to be tuning this kind of by hand with a computer. So we're going to tune it and actually find out that the last owners, when trying to have it be safer and have a tune with more gas, they actually reduced the gas by about a quarter of what it really needed So thankfully we did not blow the engine, but we will be tuning it. So let's see what good or bad comes from that. Thank you so much for watching. Wish you all more cars and more power. Hope you do get to put the pedal to the metal, and we certainly will be soon. So stay tuned and subscribe. Have a great week.